Damn dagnabbit!
Sentry going up!
Hi guys, this is XR23 and this is my part 1 of 2 years on War Thunder. So I'm just going to be talking about how I've been on War Thunder for 2 years, going through updates, how my tech trees came to be, how the premiums I have came to be, and the funny stories. Some funny stories along the way. So I'm first going to talk about my American tanks. So to first get this started, the first reason I started researching American tanks was for the M10. GMC. I love that tank. One of my favorite tank destroyers of all time. But soon enough, I got the Ram 2, and after that, the LVT, and I started really researching these tanks. I also wanted to get the Grant 1, but it was removed. Hopefully, it'll come back someday. Maybe like the exclusive British version or something. But hey, so, yeah. And then I really started researching a bit more, and I've conquered Tier 1. Aviation. So the reason why I started researching the aviation section was because I wanted to get some planes for naval CBT, because I thought that you'd be able to choose your plane. I was kind of dumb in that retrospect because I didn't really know that you couldn't. So eventually I started researching the naval line over here. Got to, I think that was the Wildcat, as you can see, and I eventually just stopped, and then I got P-40 Kitty Hawk, one of my favorite fighters of all time. And I just liked that and dropped it from there. My German aviation. This was my first aviation which I researched, hence why Metella and Friegel. I researched it because my Opa was a German pilot in World War II. Well, he wasn't really a pilot. He was an airplane mechanic, and he eventually got thrown into a plane, got shot down, and became a prisoner of war for the rest of the war. So I started researching them because of that, finding out about that in this game and all. Eventually, it just picked up from there, and I'm so far on the G2 Tropical. So again, this is probably because my Opa, I started researching the army and hearing about the Tiger tank. That also happened. So, and the funny story was that, Wiesekitten, we were both researching the German army at the same time. So, he eventually had the Panzer IV, I think it was. He started researching the Panzer IVs. So, eventually I said, and he always telling me, because I was researching Panzer IIIs at the time, so I want a bigger tank. He was telling me that the Panzer IIIs always sucked, and that they're this, and that they're that. So, eventually I said, what the heck? I'm researching the Panzer IIIs. I want to prove you wrong. And yeah, eventually I got to this, and I kind of got to prove him wrong, because these are better than these two, in my opinion. They're better than these ones, at least. So eventually then I got the Tiger 1. I was really just slowing down. And then I got my prize and joy, the SLA-16 Tiger 2, King Tiger. And that really boosted my tech tree up to where it is now. And I'm still researching this. And yeah, that was really it with the Germans. But yeah, you'll find that I want to prove people wrong a lot. So, Russian aviation, as you can see, I haven't done it yet. Russian tanks, however, I have done a fair bit, and the reason I started this was I think at first I got T-34E, and I saw that I'm getting a bit somewhere. Let's push, because I wanted, I think, was this tank, and then I wanted this tank, and I find that this tank's turret just looks ugly. So yeah, and I also want to try out the SBAAs, bunch of stuff. So I just, I wanted that, and sort of that fueled me to get it. Huh. They removed the T-26E. Yeah, and that sort of fueled me to get more of these tanks, and this is where I am now. Ah, more funny stories. So, I started researching the British after I think it was that I was sort of slowing down with the Germans. It was sort of like, I don't know. I wanted to get a bit more unique, and I like their naval fighters. Particularly, this is one of my favorite naval fighters of all time. And eventually, I started researching it, and everyone was telling me about how I had to research the Spitfires, and they were giving me a lot of high praise about the Spitfires, and I thought to myself, why do I have to research the Spits? Like, think about it. Why do I have to research the Spitfires? I don't even like the Spitfires. You know what, screw it. I found the Spitfires were a bit overrated, so I made it my pride journey to show them all that I could get to the end of the tech tree without Spitfires. And I have so far been proving them right. Because I am at tier 4 and I have not researched a single Spitfire. Funny story, eh? So yeah, eventually I started researching their Hurricane line. This is the Mark IIB Tropical, was also one of my favorite planes of all time. And yeah, I just started researching them, and yeah. And I still hope to get this. And yeah, there's also the bombers, which I don't give them too high praise. I also like the Heinkel bombers in the German texture. They're my favorite bombers, if not planes of all time. And so, I also want to get the Hornet in the German texture. Missed out on that. British tanks. Well, you see, this began after I started researching British planes, so I thought, oh right, for a second. I also got this to help me aid research, so that helps aid. Yeah, I just got British tanks to help, you know, I just thought about it, and eventually I started to have an obsession and love for these two tanks. I love them. So yeah, and eventually I started to like them the best. They became my favorite tanks, and yeah. Then I just started going on, and I tried to also grind out the 3-inch gun carrier, which failed. That's the Churchill 1, which I was also going to grind it out in the update video I wanted to do for the update. It was introduced with, and I think that was the Italian update. Japanese. I have not really researched anything in Japanese other than this. It's going to make a combined battles preset for my tier 1 1.2 tanks, which I haven't really ground out anything either. Yeah, I haven't even started on the Italians. I got the Italian Metella. So yeah. And I just want to go back to the German tree and make a brief note on the ankles. So yeah, this is also this continues to be one of my favorite planes of all time, and is definitely in the top 3. And I also wanted to research the Horton 229, which presently is ongoing. Okay, so I want to start off with premiums. I have certain for these premiums, so just let me select the preset for premiums and exclusives, and all stories about all of them, and how I got them exactly, and all of these things. So, and I'll be first starting off with the Kai 61 1B. So I got this on Victory Day this year. It was really a bit of a waste of money. I don't really play it that much, and yeah. So the story behind it was that it was introduced in a patch which I forget. I absolutely love this tank because it was funny because when the patch dropped, I was just reading. I got this book called Weapons of World War II, and I read up on Abraham, a Canadian tank. So I was like, oh man, this would be so cool if they added it to Wartime, and then they added it. What sucked though, it was in the American thing, so frig you, but hey, it's there. I love it. And Weezy Kitten got first, so it was like, oh, but because I didn't have money at the time. When I got the bucks, I finally got it, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I continue to have fun with it to this day. The LVT A4 ZIS-2. I got the LVT A4 ZIS-2 on the I forgot what operation it was called though. It was like 4 planes kind of thing. And I got it after I was shooting for the stars kind of thing, trying to get the Sturmwolf Blitz, but eventually that failed and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get it. You know, I'm gonna try and do something else. And yeah, and I just barely got the LVT A4 ZIS-2. We'll wait for part 2, and that's the end of the video, so God bless, and we're out.